We turn now to Campaign 2020. Our CBS News Battleground Tracker shows another shift at the top of the polls. We surveyed two early contests this week. In Iowa, Senator Bernie Sanders now shares the top spot with 23% support, along with former Vice President Biden and former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar follow with 16% and 7% respectively. The rest are 3% or below. In New Hampshire, Sanders is also on top. He comes in with 27% support compared to Biden at 25%, Warren at 18%, Buttigieg at 13%, and Klobuchar at 7%. There is more detail on the poll on our website at cbsnews.com. In the 3 months since he suffered a heart attack, Sanders has solidified his support. Our Anthony Salvanto tells us that Sanders' rise is due in part to some liberal supporters of Elizabeth Warren's moving his way. Also, his core of support is strong and steady, as opposed to others whose campaigns have seen more volatility. We want to note that Sanders also came in on top with fundraising among Democrats in the fourth quarter, raising almost $35 million, just under $10 million more than his closest competitor there on the fundraising front, Mayor Buttigieg. The Democratic field now stands at 14 candidates after former San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro quit the race this past week. For a closer look, we turn to the chairman of the Democratic Party, Tom Perez. Good to have you here.
Always great to be with you.
But what do you make of these polls?
Well, we have a deep bench, and it's a fluid field. And this is not new for the run-up to New Hampshire and Iowa. We've seen it in 2007, in 2008 with then Senator Obama and Senator Clinton. And what I see are the following. Fluid field because we have a deep bench. The enthusiasm is off the charts. 2008 was the high water mark for participation in Iowa. I'm confident we're going to surpass that because there is so much energy across everywhere. And I'm equally confident that at the end of the day, we're going to come together around a nominee. I don't know who that is. And I think the fact that we have such fluidity is a source of excitement. And that's why it's so important for us to understand the four early states constitute about 5% of the delegate count. They're important 5%, but only 5%. And so this is a marathon.
It's a jump ball at this point still.
I would agree.
So for this week, though, we saw Julian Castro drop out.
Yep.
We know with this next debate stage, Cory Booker, Deval Patrick, they're not going to be on it.
Sure.
Andrew Yang. They're all campaigning hard, though. Why do you think minority candidates haven't gotten more traction in the way that meets your standard to stand on that debate stage?
Well, I was very sad when Kamala Harris left the race. As you know, she qualified for the December debate stage, and I'm confident she would have qualified had she still been in the race for January.
Her issue is fundraising. I'm asking about the people who are
still
in the
I understand. And, you know, I take a backseat to no one in our commitment to making sure our field is diverse, and we've had so many people and so many candidates of color who've been in the race throughout. And
but
whoever
this next
wins,
debate stage is all white.
Well, we don't know yet because we still have a number of days left, and so we'll see who makes the debate stage. But here's, for me, the most important thing is we've created thresholds now, and these aren't new thresholds. And you know, those who say that we've somehow done a disservice or have made it harder for candidates of color, I disagree with that. The candidates who make the debate stage are the candidates who do the best job of working across the ideological spectrum of the Democratic Party. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton,
Right.
Barack Obama, all of them qualified and would qualify with these debate criteria.
You're saying you could see some new entrant to the perhaps January debate, but are you actually suggesting that you might revisit these standards for the future debates to allow for more diversity?
Well, again, if your question is should we lower, again, the debate threshold right now is quite low. It's quite fair. Nobody who has been at below 5% a month before the caucus or primary has ever won a caucus or primary. And so what we have done is to make sure we've set a fair bar. It's the most inclusive bar ever. And then you have to demonstrate progress. And the candidates who are at the top of the field right now are the candidates who've been able to amass support among the wide array
So
of our
you're
diverse.
not changing.
Well, again,
Period.
you have to demonstrate progress here. And again, the candidates who you saw there are the candidates who have been able to demonstrate that progress. And that means that they are showing support in communities of color. You can't win the Democratic primary if you don't have strong support in communities of color.
But you're not changing standards to make the debate stage for February, for March, for April.
Well, we don't know what the standards are for February, March, or April, but if you're asking me, should we lower the debate threshold?
I didn't say lower, I said change.
Well, as you move throughout the debate process, you always, you have to raise the bar because we will see people who have voted as of February. And so we will assess then and then make those judgments.
So Bernie Sanders, we just showed the war chest that he has built. He's taking a lot of small dollar donations. In the past, you've said you wanted to kind of incentivize grassroots money raising. So does that mean that the DNC would prefer that as the chief way for a candidate to fund a campaign, not by comparison, what Mike Bloomberg is doing, which is self-finance?
Well, actually, if you look at all the candidates who are in that polling that we've just showed, what we're seeing is that there has been Democratic fundraising, Democratic candidates for president and the DNC have actually outraised Trump and the RNC in 2019.
So you're fine
That's
with
wonderful.
self-financing when it comes to Mike Bloomberg's strategy?
Pardon me?
Mike Bloomberg, self-financing.
Well, that's up to Mayor Bloomberg. He has decided that, and the voters will figure out and will decide whether they believe Mike Bloomberg is the candidate. What I'm excited about is we have more, and it's not, I applaud Senator Sanders.
Yeah.
All the candidates have been making tremendous progress in grassroots fundraising.
Okay.
We had more new grassroots donors in 2019 than in 2017 and 2018 combined. That's good for the party.
We have to lead it there. We want to have you back again.
We'd love to.
A lot of news today. We're going to be right back.